We're back with another episode of Chatting with Staxx. And my guest is Anthony Luciano Raimondi.
Carmine Sessa sent two of his idiot brothers to do a hit on a guy. The guy had a lunch wagon truck, the lunch wagon trucks?
Yeah.
And, excuse me, and the guy had numbers, horses, sports, Shylock out of the truck. The truck was basically a front for his business. Well, his two idiot brothers went and they killed the wrong guy. Okay? His brothers go on the lam. One thing leads to another. Carmine's involved in killing guys also. And what happens, they all get pinched. They had a meeting in Manhattan on St. Patrick's Cathedral on the steps. They all go there. FBI comes because everybody went to hide and rounds them all up. Boom.
Yeah.
They all go to MCC. Next morning, when they open the cells, everybody comes out except Carmine Sessa. I says, where's Carmine? Where's Carmine? The guy who was in the cell with him says, oh, they took him out of here about 2 o'clock this morning. Right off the top, he gave every fucking body up. But did anybody yell at Teddy because he brought him around and he vouched for him? No. Why? Because he's Carmine's brother.
Yeah, but he should have got clipped for that.
No, Uncle Teddy, he did a lot of time, and he was only home about maybe 2 years.
So
and then he passed away.
If you bring a rat around, if you bring around somebody and they rat on everybody, do you get clipped for bringing the rat around, or is it only when you bring a FBI informant around, like
you're responsible for the guy? You're responsible for him, and whatever judgment they pass on you, they're going to pass. So, in other words, 99% of the time, you're going to disappear.
Just like the Donnie Brasco situation with Lefty.
Yeah, because the reason why, they figure it this way. You brought this guy around. He ratted on everybody. Now he ratted on you. You might turn around and join him and rat on us. So we get rid of you. There's no connection between there, and they get rid of you. Yeah, and they don't give a fuck one way or the other. They don't care one way or the other. They don't care. It's a lot of nepotism and a lot of my cousin, my uncle, my aunt's husband. That's what it is over there.
Yeah.
Then it shouldn't be. It should not be. Guys who earn the position should get the position, not give it to somebody because he's related to you through blood or whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
It's not the way it goes.
Yeah.
It doesn't go that way at all.
Yeah, you got to work your way to that position.
And 3/4 of them never worked their way. Never worked their way. Now, I got another story. It took place in 1977. Remember Jerry Langella?
Yep.
All right. I was going to the Desiree Club on West 6th Street between Kings Highway and Quentin Road. Guy Joe Z had it. He was with Christy Tick. So I'm in there one night, rather. I was always there because I had a house on West 6th Street. And I see two guys from Christy Tick's crew come in with their wives. And these guys' wives were drop dead gorgeous, but they were always ladies, you know what I'm saying? And these guys were two made guys, and they were always gentlemen. With that, I see Jerry Lang's son comes in, Vincent, with two of his cousins. Now, Vincent, nice kid, but he thought who the fuck he was because of his father and his uncle. So the two guys that were in there, somebody walked over to them, and I remember I was not too far from them, and they were talking, and they told their wives, excuse us. She said, yeah, right, go talk. I told Uncle Sammy Machine to give the ladies a drink on me. Hi, Anthony, good. How you been? Good. Okay, enjoy your drink. Vincent walks over to them and his two cousins, and he's talking to them. And I see the girl gets up and see the girl, she's standing there, and she smacks him in the face. Now I get up out of my chair because he had to say something to her. At the same time, these two guys come walking back. So I stop. They start talking. Vincent tries to hit the guy with a bottle. The guy winds up clocking Vincent, hitting it. Boom, he fucking cracks him. The cousins are hitting these guys with bottles, a big ruckus. I walk over. I break it up. I said, Vincent, you get the fuck out of the club. Now, Joe Z's over there. He looked at me, Joe Z. He didn't say 2 words. Now, I had nothing to do with the club yet. Get the fuck out of the club. Well, you see, they hear me. Listen to me. I don't know what the fuck you said to the girl, but the girl got up and smacked you, and I know the girl. And she wouldn't hit you in the face for nothing. Get the fuck out of the club. I hang out here. I don't need no fucking problems. Get out. They leave. Well, you close up the club about, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning. I go home. About 8:30, my phone rings. It's my cousin Mac. He goes, come to my house. We got to go below. He goes, there's a problem. I said, let me take a shower. He goes, all right, go ahead and then come pick me up. Took a shower, got dressed, pick him up. I said, what's going on? He goes, there was a problem last night in Desiree. So I said, what problem? Now, I'm not thinking about these guys here.
Yeah.
He goes, Christy Tick's men were there. There was a problem. I says, wait a minute, Mac. He says, whatever you got to say. He says, don't tell me now. He says, wait till we get in there. I walk into the dip. Now we're talking. I get there. We got there. It was about 10 o'clock. There's Christy with two of his guys, Alley Boy, Jerry Lang, Scappy, me and my cousin Mac. He says, so they called me in. They says, listen, Pluto, this is what happened last night. My son Vincent was in there with two of his cousins. Two of the guys from Christie's crew, they got into a fight with them. And these guys over there, they pulled guns on them and they threatened them. They said they were going to kill them, that they knew where they lived. And I'm listening to this, and Christy Tick is there.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
And he says, you got to handle it. That's what he's talking about. He says, like this with the hand. He goes, take them out. The both guys. They threatened my son. Now, Christy Tick was there. He gave the okay. I says, wait a minute, Jerry. I said, that's not true. He says, what are you talking about? I said, I was there. So now everybody's looking at me. I said, I was there. I said, I'm the one who threw your son and your two nephews out of the club. He says, what happened? I said, the two guys, Christy's guys, they walked away. They were talking with somebody. The two wives were there. Vincent walks over with his cousins. One guy says something. They said something. The girl got up and smacked him in the face. As she smacked him, the two guys come back over. They approach Vincent and them. Your son tried to hit the guy with a fucking bottle, with a beer bottle. Your other nephew did catch the guy in the back end. A fight broke out. I broke it up and I told him to get out. Vincent and his cousins were saying, give me a blowjob. I'll give you $50 for a blowjob. Let me fuck you for 100. These girls were gorgeous. I said, They didn't threaten your nephew. They didn't threaten your son, no nothing. So Alley Boy turns around and he says, call your son up and get him down here now. I said, but don't tell him Pluto's here. He says, no, Alley Boy said, call him up and get your son down here now. And Jerry said, I'm not going to tell him here. I said, no, don't tell him I'm here, Jerry. I said, I want to hear what he's got to tell you. I said, get your nephews to come down. Alley Boy told him. So he told Vincent, get down here now. Bring your two cousins with you. So we're waiting for him to come down. I go behind the bar. After about 20 minutes, I go behind the bar and I'm making myself a drink. Now it's like fucking 11 o'clock, quarter after 11 in the morning. I'm saying, fuck it. It's a weekend. I'm going to start drinking anyway. What's the big fucking deal? I'm making a drink. Who comes walking in? I see Vincent with his two cousins. He don't see me. I'm behind the bar. So sit down. Tell Christy Tick what happened. Well, I was in the thing. I was at the club last night. And you guys came over and started in with us. And they pulled the guns and they did this. So I come walking up from behind the bar and I'm standing behind him. I said, Vincent, you want to tell me the story again, Vincent? I said, I'd like to hear what you just said. He turned around and it's because they looked at me. They turned like fucking milk. They went white. I said, Vincent, you're forgetting to tell your father I was in the club last night? Are you forgetting to tell him that I'm the one who threw you out of the club and broke up the fight? I says, now tell me, Vincent, let me hear from your mouth exactly what happened.
And his heart dropped probably.
He goes, well, we were drinking and the night's a little hazy. It's a little foggy. So Chrissy just looked at me. He didn't say a word. So Allie Boy turns around and he says, oh, now you're foggy and you're hazy because you were drinking. But before you said that these guys threatened you, they pulled guns. They said they knew where you lived. Says, Vincent, what is it, Vincent? Which one is it? His two cousins didn't even open up their mouth. Well, we were drinking. He says, end the story. Jerry says, you, and you. He goes, go down to Monty's. I'll be there in a little while. Jerry had to apologize to Christy Tick. Now, when an underboss has to apologize to the consigliere of another family, you know what that fucker looks like?
Not good.
It's done. But Christy was friends with all of us. We were all friends. Everything was done. Christy goes, I want to thank you. Christy, look, I was there. I'm not going to let two guys get clipped for nothing, especially if they gave me the contract to take the fucking two guys out. I said, he says, you're going to be at the club tonight? And she says, wait. He goes, you're going to go to Desiree? I said, yeah. He goes, I'm going to be there 11 o'clock tonight. He goes, meet me there. It's all right. Usually I would get to Desiree maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. I walk in at 11 o'clock. Josie's, hey, what's going on? All right. He said he heard what happened. Everybody knew what happened already by that nighttime. He says, what are you doing there so early? So I'm supposed to meet Christy here. Christy comes in. Excuse me. He says, you two know each other? He says, yeah. He goes, Anthony, I got 50% of this place. I says, right, I know. He goes, I'm giving it to you.
Really?
I looked at him. You know what? He goes, I'm giving it to you. And Joe Z looked at him too. I says, Christy, you know what you're saying? He goes, you saved two guys that are very close to me from getting taken out. He goes, you told the truth. And you saved these two guys who are very dear to me. You saved their lives. He goes, you have my 50% of this place. So he tells Joe Z, he goes, Joe, you got a problem with that? Joe says, are you kidding me? He goes, Anthony's here every freaking night anyway. He goes, me and him get along. He goes, great. That's how I became a partner in the place.
Yeah.
I would go to Christie every maybe once, twice a month, give him an envelope to thank him. Wouldn't take no money from me. That's all right. I says, I go, that's what I used to do. I go to my jeweler, I get a piece of jewelry, like for his wife or one of the kids. Christy, listen. He go, no, I don't. I said, listen, this is for your wife. It's a thank you from me to you. Give it to your wife. I said, you got to accept it. And that's what he would do. He would accept that every now and then. I would bring him something like that for either one of the kids, his grandchildren, his children, or his wife, like a piece of jewelry. And I said, you got to give it to me. Can't turn it down.
Yeah.
So he never took no cash from me, Christy. Never took no cash. Man was unbelievable.
Whatever happened to him? Whatever happened to him?
Christy passed away last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was 92. 92 when he died. He lived quite a while. He did a lot of time, Christy, but he was a good man. He was a good man. Because he had the 19th hole. It was on 86th Street and 14th Avenue. There was a bar, 19th hole. Because it was because it was right across from the golf course. So that's why they called it the 19th hole. I used to go up there every Wednesday and every Friday. I used to go up there. I used to see him, a couple of guys. There was a friend of mine, Tato Beldeo. I used to meet him up there because he was with them. Christie was aces as far as I'm concerned. He was unbelievable. Yeah. Always a gentleman. Always looked at both sides of something when it was going to happen. And he never gave a problem with it. I know we had there was a guy, back in 19. Let me think. I got pinched again in 82. It was around 1980, about 1981, 1982. About 1981, 1982, there was a thing. There was a guy, Jerry Gerard. He was around Paulie Vario. And they made him. And we used to go to a place called the Penthouse on 86th Street between 4th and 5th Avenue. It was this guy, Ali Shades. He's still around. It was Ali Shades' joint.
I heard of him.
And they had a small parking lot. So he had a brand new fucking Cadillac. Brand new. And he was, showing it off. And he goes up there and he parks and I'm in there. We're all laughing and joking, having a good time. So we come out and there's this young girl and she's trying to get out the parking space. She's backing up. She's very careful the way she's backing up. I mean, all she did was what we call kiss his bumper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you could stick a piece of paper there. He comes out, you fucking whore, you cunt, you hit my fucking car. That's my new car. And Jerry, take it easy. Fuck this cunt. The girl gets out of the car. She's apologizing now, the girl.
Yeah.
I think she come out and tell him to go fuck his mother or something, but she's apologizing. That he goes, you're lucky I don't get you on, put you on your knees and make you suck my dick here in front of everybody. I said, Jerry, watch your mouth. Stop the shit. It's a young girl. The fuck's wrong with you? I don't give a fuck. I'm a friend. I'm a made guy. I say what the fuck I want. I do it. I said, Jerry, you better watch your fucking mouth. The girl starts crying. So I turn around. I said, Jerry, you don't know if she's somebody. I don't give a fuck if she's somebody's daughter, somebody's nephew. Let them come to me. I'll fucking straighten them out. I said, Jerry, get the fuck out. I said, get the fuck away from me. So I said, you don't get away from me, Jerry. I said, I'll fucking kick your fucking balls in right now. He goes, well, I'm a friend. I said, yeah, and I'm an enforcer. I said, remember that. I'm higher than you. Remember those fucking words when I'm telling you. Now get the fuck away. The girl's crying. I calm her down. I said, listen. Come on. I said, you want a drink before you go? And let's come in and get you. I'll have somebody bring a drink. No, I want to get. I said, all right, listen. Just get outside your car. I said, let me take the car out. I back out the car for her, put her in the car. I said, you sure you're all right to go home? She's thanking me to no end, this girl. I said, you sure you're all right to go home? She says, yeah. I said, look, if you want a drink or something, I'll get somebody to go with you. I said, no. I said, okay. Just be careful when you go home. Girl goes home. I get out of the you get out of the penthouse and I go down to Desiree, go down to the club. Jerry Gerard's he's already there. I said, that fucking jerk off. And Josie goes, what's the matter? So I told Josie what happened. He goes, what is this guy? Stupid in the fucking head? I said, I know. He's young. He's a made guy and everything. I said, he's with Paulie Vario. What the fuck's wrong with this fucking guy? I said, he's lucky. I almost put a fucking hole in him at the place I told him what happened. Now, the night goes on. All right, the club closed. I go home. I get another fucking call. 8 o'clock in the fucking morning, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Get down here. We got to speak to you. That was a famous line to me. Get down here. We got to speak to you. They call me every fucking time, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Listen, this is what happened, blah, 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 at the penthouse. I said, yeah, I was there. You're the one who helped out the girl. The girl described you. We knew it was you. Go see the Gambino people. It's okay. Get dressed. I go see the Gambino people. The Gambinos themselves. All right, the real Gambino, not the people who rent, the Gambinos themselves. Anthony, I want to thank you for what you did to my niece, for what you did for my niece. I says, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I said, John, it's your niece? He says, yeah. And I'm saying, this fucking Jerry don't know what the fuck he done. He says, listen. He goes, I appreciate everything you've done. I said, okay. And he says, realize, I said, no, John, look, I won't stand for that. He goes, tell this guy, keep his fucking mouth shut. I'll let it slide because he didn't know who she was. Tell him keep his fucking mouth shut. Stop saying he's going to do this to us and do that to us. Otherwise, he's going to have a problem. Tell him he's going to have a problem that he'll never recover from. That's I'll take care of it. I see him that night. I said, Jerry, come here. Let me talk to you. So I told him what happened. I went to see who she was. I don't give a fuck. I'll fucking kill them all. I'm a fucking made guy. Paulie back me up, and he's going on and on and on.
Yeah.
I says, this guy's out of his fucking mind. So I see Paulie, and I told Paulie what's going on. Paulie goes, I'll talk to him. Well, Paulie spoke to him. I don't give a fuck who they are. I'm going to do this to them. I'm going to do that to them. I'm going to kill them. Then I'm going to fuck their wives, their daughters. Now it gets back to them. Now I get a call. All right. This time I didn't get a call 8 o'clock in the morning. I got a call 3 o'clock in the morning. I go and meet the guy. He says, listen, we appreciate everything you did, but this cocksucker, he's out of line. He's out of hand. He says nobody, because not even Paulie can control him. So I understand. He says, Anthony, don't go to bat for him no more. I said, no problem. I leave. The whole week goes by. Now it's a Friday, and I'm sitting in the club. I'm sitting in the car service because by Desiree we had a car service. That when it was Desiree car service, you walked in the car service. I had a back room, and then that back room there's another door that went into the club. So that was cool the way I had it set up. So me and Joe were sitting there, and he went down. He had to do something in the club. Two guys come in. They look at me. Hey, Anthony, I said, I'm doing all right. Look, he says, you got to do us a favor. If I can, sure. When Jerry comes to the club, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, don't let him in. He says, no problem. That's all they said. We appreciate it. Thank you. And off they go. Now you got to remember, all the while this is going on, I'm out on bail. I'm on parole. It was just before I took the second pinch, so I still got parole that I'm on. While all this shit's going on, I want you to know.
Yeah.
Now I tell Josie, I said, listen, Jerry comes tonight to the club. Don't let him in. He says, all right. He says, all right. I said, somebody came to you. He goes, no problem. Now, Jerry Gerard comes in that night, parks his car across the street in front of the post office. He's walking like this across the street, strutting his stuff. And all of a sudden, he caught the two guys out of the corner of his eye coming towards him. He's running to the door and he's banging on the door to the car service, screaming. I went like this. Mm-hmm. He runs to the door of the club, banging on the door. They didn't open it up. He runs around the corner on Quentin Road, jumps in somebody's gate. You know, they had a little gate in the front of the house.
Yeah.
Why the fuck he jumped in the gate, I don't know. I would have kept on fucking running if I was him. These two guys caught him there and they whacked him right there. Now, they kill him. You heard the gunshots and I said, don't let nobody out of the club. These two guys took off. Don't know who these two guys were who did the work, but it's got nothing to do with me. I told Josie, don't let nobody out of the club. Within 3 minutes, there was fucking cop cars all over the fucking place, detectives and everything.
Yeah.
So, fuck. I says, nobody's leaving the club. No, we got nobody. I told everybody, listen, something happened around the corner. You can't go out. There's a ton of cops. We'll all get pinched. So everybody said, I says, you know what? Joe says, you know what it is? Let's give him the drinks for nothing. I says, as of right now, everybody pay up your tab right now. After that, drinks are on the house for all the time we're here. Oh, everybody loved that. So they were fine.
Yeah.
So me and Josie go out. We walk out the car service. And there's a cop car here, detective car, and there's a space. Guy pulls up with a fucking Lincoln, parks in between a cop car and a detective in front of my fucking joint now. Now you see there's ambulances, there's reporters and everything. Two guys get out with their girlfriends, walk over, they're banging on the door. I said, look at these two motherfuckers.
It's the same guys.
I said, oh, jerk off. Oh, Andy. I know you fucking stupid in your fucking head.
It's the same guys.
Do you see you got a million cop cars here? Detective, this fucking get the fuck out of here. Oh, well, get the fuck out of here before you make them take you two guys away in an ambulance and your fucking girlfriends. They get in the car and they take off. Now I pull out a cigar, I'm lighting a cigar, and Josie goes like this to me. He goes like this. I turn around. This guy was in a white shirt, stars on the shoulder, the blue pants with the gumshoe shoes and the whole fucking 9 yards and the cap. And he's walking over to me. And he's looking at me. I say, Joe, I'm going to get fucking pinched. He says, don't worry. He goes, I'll call your cousin. We'll get the lawyer. Guy walks up to me. He goes to me, are you Eddie's friend? I just looked at him. I didn't say nothing. He goes, are you Eddie's friend? So I looked. Fucking, so me and Joe look at each other. He goes, I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you Eddie's friend? Then it clicked in my head. He was talking about Ed Koch. I'll get to the story about Ed Koch in a minute. I says, yeah. He says, don't worry about it. He goes, you're Anthony, right? I says, yeah. He goes, don't worry about it. Let anybody want in or out. I'm letting people in and out of the club. There's a dead body around the fuck corner. They're doing investigations. They're tells off the fucking street. Everybody's out of the club about 8 o'clock in the morning. They're still cleaning up the site. I tell you, listen, anytime you want to come here, you, your wife, or your girlfriend, or a couple of your friends with their girls or wives, I says, you're more than welcome here. I said, it's on the house. I said, no, I appreciate it. Said, thanks, Liza, but I just wanted to make sure you're Eddie's friend. I said, yeah. Me and Josie looked at each other and says, by the fucking skin of our teeth. We were friends with Ed. Now, the story with Ed Koch is this. I'll explain this to you. My friend Dominic Rayone, who was the Deputy Commissioner of Veterans Affairs, remember I told you about Hank Velez, Don Barbarino, Mike DiNicola, and Carmine Lasapio. They said, listen, we got a guy, his name is Edward Koch. He's going to run for mayor. If we get him in, we can do whatever we want in the city. Now, these are legitimate guys telling me this.
What year is this?
That was the year before he got elected. What was it, 77, 76? The year before he got elected, because he was in for 12 years, Koch.
Because you guys are in unions and everything.
Yeah.
You guys got your hands in everything.
Yeah, so now I turn around. I said, what we can do? It says we run fundraisers for him and we get him in. He goes, but now he goes, speak to your father and your uncles, see if we can get the union guys and everything. I said, all right. He said, but we got to have a place to have the fundraiser. I said, well, why don't we use the club? They said, no, we want to get a legitimate place. There was a friend of mine, Benny Kirkorada. He was a wise guy. He had a catering hall on 16th Avenue in Bensonhurst. It was between either 62nd and 63rd or 63rd and 64th. It was called the Chaise Royale. So I went to see Benny. And I told Benny, I said, Benny, listen, this is what we got. This guy, Ed Koch. I said, listen, we could do fundraisers here. We can run Las Vegas nights and everything. And naturally, we're going to take an end and we kick into him for his campaign. He goes, let me think about it. I said, but Benny, listen, we could do whatever we want in the city. They told me, well, I said, Kamala Shapiro said, we'll have the run of the fucking city. Because let me think about it. I seen him. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was about 11:30 that night. I get a call. And he goes, let me see you. I go see him. I said, what's up? He goes, let's do it. That's beautiful. I
Yeah.
started running. We started running the benefits for him. We did the Chaise Royale. We did the Pizza. We had Macaulay's. I mean, we were doing all the Hollywood Terrace. We did. We were doing all the fundraisers there. We were running
You're
gambling like Las
raising
Vegas.
a whole bunch of money for his campaign.
Raised a ton of money. We took our end out and we gave it to him. But we didn't give it to him. We gave it to Bess Meyerson. She was his bag lady. Now
Yeah.
I speak to my father. I speak to my uncles. Now we start getting the unions. And at that time, Ralph Scorpo was close with us. This was way before the war. Ralph Scorpo got local 6, local 3. He got them in. Then I went to see Uncle Buster, Gunga Din. He was with us. He got all the electricians in the construction union. My father's got all the longshoreman unions. We got the truck job. We got everybody to vote this guy in. I says, don't worry about it. We're going to make out good. Sure enough, the vote comes. Boom, bing, bang, boom. Ed Koch becomes the mayor. I said,
Yeah.
okay. Now what do we do? We used to meet at Dominic Rayon's house. Dominic lived on Avenue O, and I think it was East 16th Street. It was East 16th Street. He had a house on Avenue O. Used to meet there, and Bess Meissen would come. I met Ed Koch twice. Twice. Well, I couldn't be seen with me. Bess Meissen was the bag lady who would come back and forth. He says, what can we do for you? What do you need? I says, we got a construction site. There's a site that's going to go up in the Bronx on 210th Street and Morningside Drive. She goes, all right. Said, a lot of guys have been on it. She goes, well, what's the story? I said, there's going to be 2 high-rise buildings. Yeah, well, they call high-rise, like maybe 6, 7, 8 stories. And then smaller buildings, like 35 families in a row, make a courtyard. She goes, all right, you just want the contract. I said, right. She goes, all right, put your bid in. I said, how low do we have to go? She goes, no, no, no. She goes, how high do you want to go? I looked at her. I says, fair enough. How high do I want to go? That's all I had to hear. So I said, what's the deal? She goes, Ed gets $1.5 million up front. He gets 3% of the profits. That's okay. Keep the job going as long as you want. I says, okay, it's a deal. Turn around. I go back to Ralphie Scorpo. I said, Ralph, listen, this is what it is. I told my father and everybody. Next day, SNA Concrete got the job. They gave him the contract because Ralph Scorpo was the head of SNA Concrete. We got the job. Koch got $1.5 million cash. Bess Meissen picked it up. Every week he got 3% of the check. Bess Meissen picked it up. Job went off. We made a ton of money on the job. We milked that fucking job so far. Forget about what we did with that job. Then, then we had the contract to do the West Side Highway. There was a contract to do the seawall, the piers, the groundwork, and everything. Guys were putting bids in, phenomenal guys. I mean, guys were putting bids in like left and right. Bess says, Bess, we got this job. She goes, okay. She goes, don't worry about it. She goes, I says, listen. She goes, what do you estimate the job at? So I gave her this. I said, the estimation now for this job. I said, if you're looking at the seawall, I said, let me call the guys up. I called them up. Everybody gave me the price. Says, you're looking at, I said, there's big fucking money here. She goes, what are you looking at? I says, their price that they're talking is like 75 million or better. She goes, okay. She goes, add another 5 million onto it. I look at it like this.
$80 million.
Fucking contract came through 2 days later.
Wow.
Ed Koch got $5 million. No percentage, 5 million cash. Now, any extra that we had to do came to us, he said. He didn't want it. He got his 5 mil. We were doing business with him for years up until he got out. For years, we did every contract there was in the city, every construction job that was there, that was ours that we did. We put the bid in. We used all different companies. As long as we told her, listen, this is the company that's going to put the bid in there with you. Yeah, okay, fine. Boom, we got the job. We were on a rough estimate, not much, 50% higher than anybody else. And we got the jobs.
And they still gave it to you.
Ed Koch, when he died, let me tell you something. He had to be worth a couple of $100 million. And I'm telling you serious. We had another job. They were building high rises in Manhattan. There was 5 high rises that were going around, in different areas, exclusive high rises, which are still around now. Turn around. It says, you want the job? Yeah, we want the job. Okay. So Bess Meisen says, listen, instead of what they were doing, they were bidding for the jobs like one building at a time. She goes, give me for the whole thing, the whole 5 buildings, what you're looking for. We gave her a bid, and I'm not kidding, and I'm telling you seriously, it was a bid of 300 million. Passed like that today.
They accepted it.
Like that.
Yeah.
Gave Koch, he got another 5 million on that job. And then he took 1% of the job because the buildings didn't come to that much, but everybody was eating on that job. We did so many jobs with him, had so many things done with this guy. It was unfucking believable with Koch.
And did he have his hand? He had his hand in the police department too, right?
Huh. That guy was the chief of the detectives and everything coming over to me. He asked me if I'm Eddie's friend.
Oh, yeah,
told me, don't worry about it. You can do anything you want here.
Yeah. So when he was asking you, are you Eddie's friend? You didn't know he was talking about that Eddie.
I didn't click in my head that he was talking about Ed Koch.
Yeah.
Then after the third time, I says, wait a minute. He's got to be talking about Ed Koch. So I says, let me try. Yeah. Okay, do whatever you want.
Wow.
I mean, you couldn't get over with that with this guy. This guy was just like unbelievable. The stuff that we. So I got this in book 1. All this is in book 1. What I'm talking to you about. All this is in book 1.
Yeah.
So much stuff that we did with this guy. It was like unbelievable. Unfucking believable.
Did he end up just doing his term and getting out, or did he
we kept him in for 12 years. Every time it came for him to go vote, we pushed the unions again. Got him in. You're only able to do 3 terms. We kept him in for 12 years, 3 terms.
All right.
Well, we kept him in, and he made a fortune with us. But then also we made a fortune with him at the time too. Everybody was eating, and then a lot of the other families, they saw that the Colombos were doing very good. I mean, we were at one time in that 12 years, the Colombo family was the biggest earning family in the commission.
Yeah.
Now all the other families wanted to get into it. Well, fine, we'll bring you in. You got to come up with an envelope. Half of them said no. Well, then you don't get nothing. There was a big beef over that. And there was a sit down and they said, this is their connection. You want this? They said you got to come up with an envelope. You got to come up with an envelope. Otherwise, you ain't doing it. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to keep all the money and they don't give nothing to the guy who's giving them everything. And then they got to make a percentage. After a while, then all the other families turned around and they started coming up with the envelope and they got involved in it. But they had to come to us. I would not let they was, we want to meet her. No, you ain't meeting nobody. Because I do that, you guys will fuck it all up.
Yeah.
You guys will fuck, and I don't need that. We got a good thing going over here.
Yeah.
Not gonna screw this thing up. No fucking
So now,
way.
when Sonny Francis was locked up and in jail, right? And his son was around. Were you around when his son was around?
Yeah, but he stood with a different crew altogether. He didn't hang out with us.
So Michael had a different crew, but because he's on the internet saying that he's worth all this money, and he did all this, getting all this money in the gas business. And do you think any of that is true?
All right, listen to me. If you look at one video that Michael did, he says he was making $2 million a week, and he was giving the boss 25% of the 2 million. He said, which came to $400,000. Well, unless you really failed math in school, Michael, 25% of 2 million is 500,000, not 400. That's number one. Then he's got another video where he's saying he was making 20 million a week. Okay. So 20 million a week, and you're claiming to have given the boss 5 million a week now. All right. Then he's got another video saying he made $20 billion in a period of about less than 20 years, like 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is. Because if you listen to him, he says he got into this to being a gangster. He was like in 19, I don't know, 70 or 71, he was saying. And then he was saying about the time he did in jail. So if you add everything up with the time he did in jail and he got out, I think it was in the 90s or whatever it was, you figure he's been on the street maybe about 15, 16, 17 years, something like that. And he did about 9 years in prison. And then when he came out, he decided to get out. So you figure it out. He's bullshit. But the numbers don't add up.
Yeah.
The numbers don't add up. Yeah, you know. Does he have money stashed? Oh, definitely, without a doubt. I'm not going to say no. He's done a lot of things. I'm not going to say no. He's definitely done a lot of things. But everything he got, he inherited from his father. Now, Orby Spader, he had a video that I was watching, and Orby said that Michael was jealous of his father. And you want to know something? I believe it.
Yeah.
Sonny was a legend. Sonny was a legend in organized crime. Let's put it that way. And everybody loved him. Even his enemies loved him. Believe me when I tell you this. Sonny was a stand-up guy. Now, Michael's claiming that he had 300 men under his command doing this gas tax thing with him. So there were Italian guys, you had Russian guys, you had Albanian guys, black guys, you had Puerto Rican guys. Now, you're talking, you got 300 men that you're commanding. The boss of the family is not going to sit well with that. You understand? Because, hey, wait a minute. This guy's got 300 fucking men that are under his command. They do what he says. This guy could turn around and come after us and want to take over our family too. He's got 300 men. Like I said before, they would have called him in. They would have spoke to him. If they didn't like what he said, they would have whacked him.
Yeah.
So he's full of shit that he commanded 300 men. That's number one. Now, the newspaper has him as the yuppie Don. First of all, he wasn't a Don. No fucking way. He was a captain, not a Don. Don is the head of the family. So the newspapers better get their fucking story straight because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. He was no Don. Then he's got another video where he says, you have to fly under the radar if you're going to be a gangster and you're going to be a wise guy. Don't draw attention to yourself. Well, how come you're always on TV with your court cases, with your fancy car, you got a boat, and you're getting a helicopter to take you back and forth? So you're over here, you understand, showing off, and you're telling everybody to fly under the radar. Don't make up your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Then he's saying that Tom DeBella is the one who made him, which it's possible Tom DeBella made him because he got made before me, Mike. But he's saying, oh, I was driving Tom DeBella around and I waited in the car. Well, first of all, if you were made and you were driving Tom DeBella around, you don't wait in the car. You go inside with him. If you're not made, you wait in the car. All right, so that's crock of fucking shit. Now, Tom DeBella was very close with my father and everybody in my family, my uncles. I seen Tom DeBella, not much. I'd say 5 times a week I seen him. I didn't see Michael with him. Okay? Tom DeBella come down to 3rd Avenue and Carroll Street. We had to talk business. I didn't see Michael with him. So Michael saying he was driving him all over here and there, and I was his driver, and he made me. Tom DeBella might have made him. And if Tom DeBella made him, it was because his father asked for him to be made. not because of the gun, because Sonny asked, and they did it for Sonny.
Yeah.
And he's saying about Greg Scarpa that if you listen to him, he's always talking about Greg Scarpa. Yeah, me and Greg Scarpa, we hung out. We were always down by Carroll Street and this and that and whatever. But Greg was a little weird, and Greg he could have been an informant. And Greg, they did call him the Mad Hatter. They did call him the Grim Reaper. And some things. Wait a minute. In 1 minute, you're saying you're with Greg all the time, and you're coming to Carroll Street. In the second thing, you're saying, well, he was an informant. So if he was an informant, why would you hang out with him then? According to what you're saying. And you're saying they call him the Grim Reaper. These days, you're already on the street. Now, my thing with Greg was this. I would meet him in the club it was Bay 7th Street between 86th and Benson Avenue. I'd meet him over there. He'd come in. I'd give him a message or whatever. And then that would be it. I would leave. How you been? Okay, good. Sometimes I would go up to 11th Avenue or 13th Avenue. I would see him. Or he would come down to Carroll Street. Anytime he came to Carroll Street, whether it was down on Carroll Street and 3rd Avenue at the Diplomat that we had, or Scappy's Club up on 5th Avenue, the Nesta Club, I never seen Michael with him.
Yeah.
Seen him with him. Now, I used to go to certain clubs. We used to go to clubs, and I'd see Greg in the club. And, Greg had a bunch of different guys with him. Anytime we talked, it would be in private that we spoke. We spoke about different things. Whatever Greg done with his men was his business. They were his men. I was downtown with my crew, but we always talked. And he spoke with my cousin Mac. He was good friends with my cousin Mac. He was good friends with Allie Boy. He was in the family. He was one of the top guys in the family at the time.
Yeah.
But I never seen Greg. I never seen Michael with him all this time that Michael's saying he was with him all these times. I never seen it. Never seen him with him. I met Michael twice. One time, I was coming out of Monty's restaurant, and he was coming down, and Fat Andy introduced me to him. He says, Pluto. He says, this is Michael. Michael, this is Pluto. Sonny said, how you do? Fine. Pleasure to meet you. I left. Another time I met him, I was coming down Carroll Street to get my car, and I guess he was walking up Carroll Street because I had my car parked in Monty's parking lot. Hi, Andy. Hi, Michael. How you doing? Good. How's everything? Good. Fine. Take care. Take care. That was it. That was the whole set of my conversations with him because he was too busy playing the fucking Playboy and everything like that with the money and the jewelry and the planes and this. He did make all that money with the gas, but he inherited all that from his father. He didn't put it together on his own. And I'm telling you, he didn't. Like he said, he was in college. Then he got out of college to help his father. And then the father had a maid and this, and then he got that, and he got everything else. I mean, he had a lot of different things going. I'm not going to say he didn't. But everything he had going, legitimate, illegitimate, came from his father and his father's connections. That his father in the business world and everybody. Not that he went and got it on his own, that he's trying to claim that he did.
Yeah.
Then he's talking about when Joe Colombo got killed. First tape says, well, I was 10 feet from Joe Colombo, and he gave me some flyers, and he told me to go up to 6th Avenue, either he said by the bus depot or the train depot or wherever the hell it was, and give out these flyers. Next thing I know, I hear gunshots, and Joe Colombo's on the floor, whatever. Okay. All right, fine. Next thing he turns around and says, yeah, I was roughly 50 feet away from Joe. Now, follow me. Roughly, I'm 50 feet away from Joe Colombo when he got shot. He gave me some flyers. He told me to go somewhere on 6th Avenue. I had to give him out. So now, 1 minute you're 10 feet away from him. The next minute you're 50 feet away from him. So make up your fucking mind.
Yeah.
1 minute you knew you were going to 6th Avenue to the depot or the bus depot or the train depot to give out the flyers. And then the next minute, I had to go somewhere on 6th Avenue and give these flyers out. Well, make up your fucking mind. Which is it? Were you 10 feet away? Were you 50 feet away? Did you know where you were going on 6th Avenue or you didn't know where you were going on 6th Avenue? Make up your fucking mind. Which is it?
And the thing about the shooters too, Sammy the Bull Gravano didn't even have 300 people under his command.
Right.
He didn't even have he on one of his last videos, he said that he had 100 shooters after the Paul Castellanos hit.
Right.
So like 300 men, it just seems unreal. It's an unreal
Thank you.
number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I kept writing, and if you see, I put out another video this morning. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I put out another one on my, on my Facebook, and I keep telling Vlad TV, why don't you get me to come on and ask me the questions? Because I'll tell you the truth, and I'll shoot down half the stuff that he said. I got so many people wrote back to me. You know what they told me? They said Vlad TV is in bed with Michael Francis. I says, you're right, because they don't even Vlad TV doesn't even answer me.
Yeah.
Doesn't even answer me, the guy.
He won't. I don't think Michael Francis would go on a podcast and rebuke anything anybody says.
I did a big interview with Jordan Harbinger last year.
Yeah, I
I don't know
seen
if
that one.
you see. Okay,
Yep.
Jordan told me, he goes, "Would you sit down with Michael Francis if I could?" I says, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "I tried to do it with Sammy the Bull, and Michael Francis said he didn't want to sit with him. He wouldn't sit down and debate with him."
Yeah, because
And I
he
says,
won't.
"Yeah, I'll
I
do
don't.
it." I go, "If he says he'll do it with me, he don't know what he's in for." I
Yeah.
said, "He don't really know me, but everything he's talking about, I was there." Then
Yeah.
he's talking, oh, here's the best one. He's talking about the Colombo War. You know, when the Colombo War came, my people were on the street. We were on the street, and this and that and that and that, and we did this and we did that. I said, "You're full of fucking shit," because when the Colombo War came, now wait a minute, he was in prison. The next video that he makes, he's telling you, "Oh, I was in prison when the Colombo War came." Meanwhile, the other one says, "Well, we did this and we did that when the war came." So make up your fucking mind. You
Yeah.
were in prison. And I
Yeah.
said, and I also said too. I also did in the videos. I never seen any of his people on the street. Nobody ever came to us and said these people are with Michael and we got to keep they'll keep them with us or whatever. Nobody.
Yeah.
I said he's a good publicist. He's doing the right. I mean, he's making a lot of money legitimately. He's got that money stashed.
Yeah, he is.
He's living off his father's name. He's living off the name Francis, which is his father's. That's number one. That's what he's living off of. Just
Yeah.
like
Well.
I'm sorry,
Yeah. Go ahead. No, I said we'll get to the bottom of it all.
just like he said in one video, which I have in my videos, you got to look at Michael Gould. They ask him questions a lot, and sometimes, yeah, I really can't say. He's laughing. Yeah, I really can't say. Yeah, you know why he really can't say? Because he don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Now, I challenged him on more than one video. He said, they asked him about Jimmy Hoffa. I'm imitating Michael now. Vlad, I got a tape of the guy who killed Jimmy Hoffa. I got the tape. I got the tape of him. And the guy who killed Jimmy Hoffa, he's still around. I know the guy. I know the guy. I got it. So I turn around and I say, I challenge you, Michael, to bring the tape forward. You're full of fucking shit. My father's the one who got pulled in for that. My father didn't know you, and you ain't got no fucking tape. I'm challenging you to bring out that fucking tape. And bring out the guy who you said who killed Jimmy Hoffa, who you're saying he's still fucking alive.
Yeah.
I told Vlad TV the same thing. I don't hear nothing.
Of course.
Nobody answered me.
You won't. You won't hear nothing probably.
Right?
Well,
Saying,
I'll get this out there and see if we get a response from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take credit for something somebody else did, and you're
No.
putting your life into it. Like I said, he's talking about the Colombo War like he was there, and then he turns around and tells you, "Oh, well, I was in prison at that time." Then why are you talking like you were there? And the way you said, "Yeah, well, my people did this and my people did that. Me and my people did this. You and your people did fucking Ugats because you was in fucking jail." And he says, "Well, Carmine asked me which side am I on. I had to tell him I'm on his side." No, you didn't have to tell him you're on his side. Either you're on his side or you're not on his side. Make up your fucking mind. You don't have to do nothing if you don't want to do it. I said, you're full of shit. The problem with Michael is he probably never thought somebody was going to come out of the woodwork and dispute a lot of things he said.
Yeah.
That's his problem.
Yeah.
Now,
He's trying to shut down anybody that tries to say anything. Yeah.
Now, Vlad asked him about Larry Mazza. The only thing I believe he said, "Oh, I really don't know anything about Larry." I think he said something like that. Larry, I think they asked Larry Mazza because Larry Mazza was on Vlad TV. I think
Mhm.
they asked Larry about Michael, and I'm not sure if Larry. I'm not 100% sure. I can't say that. I'm not sure if Larry said he really didn't know him too good, or he just shook his head and said no. Something like that. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
So he's full of shit.
Well, we'll get into more stories and after when we take this break, and we'll be back with more videos. Thank you for coming on my show, man, and we'll be back with another part to it.
Okay.